So, Ricky, I want to know your initial reactions after seeing this trailer. There's so much hype. This is like the beginning of trailer season. We got the Odyssey trailer coming before Avatar: Fire and Ash. There was talk about Doomsday potentially dropping this week, potentially hijacking the spotlight from DC Studios and Supergirl. There are so many things that we're looking forward to. Spider-Man Brand New Day. When is that trailer going to drop? We haven't had much hint or rumor regarding that. I want to know, focusing solely on Supergirl, what was your reaction after seeing this?
I like this teaser. I liked it. I don't know if it's going to be a gangbusters great movie, but this seems like a fun movie that I like for a beginning of a universe trying to install new superheroes. It's a lot of what we expected, right? From that little inkling of what we saw her, Milly Alcock, Supergirl, Kara, in Superman in this past summer at the end, right? She's going to be a darker, more cynical Supergirl or superhero than Kal-El, Superman, right? Clark Kent, right? She's going to be again darker, not perfect, going through tragedy, loss at a literally global scale, and I think it's going to be a good contrast of what we saw with Superman. It's not going to be similar. They're going off of the Woman of Tomorrow storyline, which I like, where again it's an adaptation of Tom King's comic series there, where you saw that woman. I'm not very what's her name? Ruth Knoll or
Ruthia?
something.
Ruthia?
Ruthier, thank you. And it's going to be like kind of like a, hey, I lost my planet, let's save yours, right? Against Krem. And I think it's going to work out. And it's going to be also a cosmic story, which I think James Gunn is going to help out, obviously, as a producer here. His his vibes, like from Guardians of the Galaxy, are definitely going to be installed here with a Craig Gillespie who has great comedic timing as a director. That's why I think it's going to be a fun movie. Again, with that cosmic and that energy that you kind of saw in Guardians installed here. I like this teaser. It didn't show too much. It showed us the villain, a quick look at Lobo, but not too quick. And overall, who this character is, what she's going through, but nothing too deep as into the actual plot lines of the story. Things that we can kind of infer from, again, the Woman of Tomorrow storyline and what we saw already. I like the teaser.
I agree with what you said about Lobo. Like, perfectly done where, yes, he gets like literally half a second of screen time. You can screenshot it, you can enhance it in 4K, and it still tells you nothing about the movie. And you're just excited to see Jason Momoa as Lobo, a character he said he's always wanted to portray. Obviously, he was Aquaman, but he said that he read Lobo comics as a kid, and it's a dream that he gets to play Lobos. I'm excited for that. I'm wondering what the size of his role is going to be in the movie or how he fits into the story here. I will say, I'm much more lukewarm on this trailer than you. And I think one thing that saved the trailer is the last line from Milly Alcock in this trailer. It's the line where I think she's talking with Ruthier. I think that's how you pronounce the name. If it's wrong, don't sue me. Like, it's all people know this character from Woman of Tomorrow. No one's seen her really in movies or anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. But when she says, like, what is Superman like? Like, and Milly Alcock says, Superman sees the good in people. I see the truth. And that told me everything about the movie. That told me everything about what Milly Alcock's Supergirl stands for. It tells me her mindset. It tells me how she has a negative view of people. There's a stark contrast between what we saw in Superman and what you're going to see from Supergirl. But did I love that, like, gritty type of feel, or I like that, me against the world, or it's like that grim type of view she has. But does that trailer convey that? I don't think so. Like, to me, this looks kind of more like, a lot of people are saying Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of people are saying like classic superhero template shade that you're seeing from, a superhero movie. And I thought it could have gone a little darker. I would have been more excited for it.
So, two things. One, that little shade. Yeah. Do I like that? No. But to get your origin story right for this character and to kind of get those tropes here in a new universe, I kind of gave it a pass.
But I also want to say, like, we've talked about how this is going to be a new movie in the DCU, the first installment that's not directed by James Gunn. We've had Peacemaker season 2. We've had Superman, Creature Commandos. Here comes Supergirl. And the criticism that everyone's giving about this movie is that it looks like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but this one's not directed by James Gunn. Like we have been looking forward to a DCU project that is not in the hands of James Gunn, but the first project that comes about and it's directed by somebody else reminds everyone of a James Gunn movie. Like that's not what I was looking forward to with Supergirl.
Again, all right, this is interesting because I also will give a pass to this because there's clear connections with Superman, which is a James Gunn project.
That's it.
Very hands-on.
Okay.
So that's where I kind of wanted to have the James Gunnian effect if we have James Gunn do Superman.
You're gonna have connectivity, like direct connectivity.
They have to be. And they're going to be different characters too. There's going to be a lot more trauma with this character. Maybe not like this character literally saw her world disappear or get destroyed, right? Like that, there's going to be some deep baggage here versus Superman. Obviously, there's deep baggage too, but not on this global scale, right? Where this person literally saw millions of people die.
Witnessed the death of Krypton. But if you know the story of Supergirl, like her father is the brother of Jor-El, right? So she was alive when Krypton was destroyed. And a city of Krypton was saved, or at least survived the destruction of Krypton. And then it's her father that is like making sure this world is protected. Eventually meteors shatter like what the protective shield he has on this city. The world turns into kryptonite and the world slowly burns. The world slowly dies. The city slowly dies. And that's what she's talking about when she's talking with Ruthye, when she's saying like gods didn't destroy Krypton in a second. You know, it was much longer than that. And I was confused by this and I didn't know the lore. So she's younger than Superman. She is the little cousin of Kal-El, and we know that from Superman, but she is alive during the destruction of Krypton, which means there's a point where the city that she is from, or maybe somehow she is stuck in time someplace in the galaxy, and then physically Superman becomes older than her, right? Her cousin, and then Kara Zor-El, Supergirl, is younger. I didn't know that.
Yeah, complicated.
I had to look that up. I didn't know because when I was like, why is she alive during the destruction of Krypton? I didn't understand that. And why is she 20 years old?
Yes, very complicated. That's just again hard to do on screen. You know, it's very hard this story, and they're swinging for it, right? That's why I think also I guess I'm being nice here. I am being nice. I know usually I'm not, but if this was like the MCU in the middle of their run, maybe I'm more critical. Like MCU today. If this is DCU in 10 years, maybe I'm more critical. But today, I think, hey, let's just get a jump start here. I think I'm more open to it. Do I like everything about the show or no? It's a teaser. But I think overall, I think the vibes that they're giving off, they're hinting at some of the deeper themes that they're going to play out as. They have a good banger of a line, like you mentioned here, with I Superman sees the good in people and I see the truth and whatnot. Whatever the line is, that was a banger of a line. And they show her in the suit only one time at the end.
Great look.
Like it looks great. So I think they nailed the important things to kind of sell me, right? To sell me that, hey, this has some life here. Like this looks like it could be something. Could it be a very basic story, a basic movie where it's like, oh, the look that isn't very new. The character, we've seen some sort of thing, some sort of character development like this in the past. This isn't very new. Maybe. But at least if you're starting a universe and you're trying to gain faith that you know how to do this, maybe like that's the minimum threshold you need just to kickstart this, right? I guess that's how I'm kind of looking at it. Now, when this movie comes out June 26th, and that all those things I just said happen, if they don't convince me on the screen, that's a problem, right? I'm not engaged with the movie. But let's say I am, then I'm like, all right, that was great. That was fine, I should say. That was fine.
I think that the part where I am a little hung up on is that also this trailer actually did something that was similar to the first trailer for Superman, where I'm like, how powerful is Supergirl? Like, I'm not convinced that she is on the same, even near the same level as Superman from watching this trailer. Like, I don't know how, I know she's only 23 years old in this movie. She has laser eyes. She has super strength. You know, she strikes the Superman pose when she's carrying the young child like through the window, and she's swinging that thing at the end of the trailer. It's supposed to be this big like action scene, but I wasn't convinced after seeing this. I'm like, oh, this girl is a super powerful, you know, hero. It didn't feel like she. And I don't know if that's just Milly Alcock. She's not that big. You know, she's not like that physical of a presence in terms of like an action star. I think she can do the emotional parts, but after I watched this, I'm like, oh man, like I don't. Maybe it was things that I kind of that didn't. I thought about the same thing when I saw Superman trailer, but this one I was like, is she really that prime of a superhero?
That was my biggest gripe, was when she grabs whatever the ball and chain, it looks like she has to carry a lot, like it's heavy. It should not be heavy for Supergirl. It should not be heavy at all. And that made me a little nervous that maybe they're not giving her enough power. Where it should be more raw power where she's inexperienced, she's only 23. Like, yeah, but she should have the strength, right? And it should look better than it does in this teaser. That was my issue. And that kind of relates to kind of what we were talking about with the look of this movie, where it has that classic superhero movie shade. If they can't get the action sequences right, then I'm nervous. Like, same commentary I was saying off the official or the Superman trailer when he was flying, and I was nervous on that a little bit. This is like similar type of vibes where I was like, "Ooh, that's actually a red flag to me."
That was a trepidation I had. I'm glad that we're on the same page there. But I also want to bring up something you said, like the connectivity that you feel. I do feel the connectivity to Superman big time, right? Whether it be the suit that she's wearing, that's obviously a similar rendition to what Corn Sweat's wearing in Superman. You have the Daily Planet, newspaper that somehow is on a different it's on a different planet that Krypto's peeing on, at the beginning. Having Krypto there in general is also huge. I have thoughts on Krypto in a second, but also you have like the look of the Kryptonians. It looks like we're going to watch the destruction of Krypton happen, and they're wearing the same garb as like Bradley Cooper, right, was wearing in Superman. It makes me wonder, are we going to get like Bradley Cooper as Jor-El in a more significant role than he had as basically the Marlon Brando-esque hologram that he was in Superman? Could he return here? Who's playing, Supergirl's father, the brother of Jor-El? It's going to be David Krumholtz. Like, are we going to get like some David Krumholtz and Bradley Cooper scenes in this movie? I don't want to rule it out, but that's the type of thing I am feeling excited for. Are they going to address the message sent by Jor-El for Kal-El when he came to Earth? That was like the quote unquote harem, right? That Superman was calling for Kal-El to have and to take over Earth and all these things that were in the Superman movie. Is that going to be addressed in this movie? This is the type of things that I'm excited for, that I would think of usually for like a Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now I'm thinking it for DC. So in that way, pretty effective that they're releasing these back to back.
Very effective, very effective. And I thought the same thing with the Bradley Cooper message, but I immediately shut it down because they can't address that in a Supergirl movie and not a Superman movie. Right? They should address it, in my opinion, in Man of Tomorrow, and saying Brainiac did it, basically. That's how they do it. Not in a Supergirl movie when Superman's not actually in the movie, but it's his parents. I don't think they could do that.
Did you see Milly Alcock basically spoil that Superman's in this movie?
She just straight out said it. Like, that was insane.
That was
Like, I was expecting it, but like,
definitely
just
not
straight out
supposed to
spoil
be
it.
That's
Yeah.
like that's
Kevin Feige would like sniper. Like, that was insane.
Absolute rookie move. Rookie move from like a comic book actress in her first like leading role.
Act like you've been there before. Like, you're in House of the Dragon, for God's sakes. Like, Game of Thrones fans
And
would have
she
thought
made
of
us
it.
cameo in season 2 for House of the Dragon.
Insane.
Crypto, by the way. I think they took some notes from Superman in the reception of Crypto. The way that Crypto was not the star of the show in this trailer whatsoever. Pissed on the article of David Cornsweat of Superman, basically shutting down a nuclear reactor. And if you actually looked at that newspaper article in the bottom right-hand corner, it actually talks about Supergirl saving a cat out of a tree. So it kind of shows you like the pecking order. Like, they know that Supergirl exists, like as in like Metropolis, but she is not Superman. Like, she's kind of an afterthought. Might lead to some jealousy she has for Superman, her cousin, and also goes into like the differing of their mindsets, right? How she might look at she's jealous of him and also thinks that he has the wrong view of the world, you know? But Crypto here, he's not nearly as active, and actually he's harmed in one of these scenes. It looks like he's hurt. And a key part in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is Krem actually shoots an arrow at Crypto. And Crypto basically it sparks this like motivation for Supergirl to take on Krem, along with the Ruthie character who tells this story. This girl comes and says, "This person killed my father. Is responsible for killing my world," and she finds some like familiarity in that. You know, so I'm looking at Crypto gonna have a little bit of a different role in this movie, which I think a lot of people would actually be, welcome to.
I agree. I think it's a good where he was in the beginning just to say, "Hey, he's back here. Look, it's fun, whatever." But then he's not the star of this teaser. Milly Alcock, Supergirl is. That's what you do. Not too much overexposure with crypto. Back to back years of that would be a lot. No, let's focus on the actually getting Supergirl off the ground, showing the importance and priority of that character and for this universe. I think that's important. And also, hey, I like crypto. For me, it may be a little too much in Superman. I kind of like it. I kind of do like that.
I'm interested also in this Ruthia character that is a huge part of the comic books, the mentor mentee relationship. I want to see what this actor's got because like I'm a little nervous just watching this trailer. Hopefully, like my concerns are, I guess, qualmed once we see this movie. But that's something that was also sticking out to me during this. And in terms of like people comparing it to Guardians of the Galaxy, like I would say like this character stands on her own. I think like there's a great combative mindset compared to Superman, but there's like details in this movie that did remind me of Guardians of the Galaxy, like whether it be the record player at the beginning of the trailer, like the headset that she's wearing, in the poster. It could be the bars that she's going to, the drinking, the party lifestyle, the lone wolf. It's like kind of a Peter Quill-esque
The
story.
jacket.
The jacket she's wearing, the lasers that are pointed at her that are basically like Ravagers, just reminded me of Ravagers nonstop. There were like details of this that kept reminding me of like, oh, this would be like if Peter Quill never met the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, Krem is a pirate assassin.
Yes, pirate assassin. The look of that character, I'm like, oh, this would be like in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That's another thing I'm a little shaky on. So we have Milly Alcock, who's never led like a comic book project. She was in House of the Dragon for like half a season. She's leading this. Your villain is this guy, Matt Schoenartz. Schoenartz, not sure how to pronounce his name exactly. The guy's been sentenced to 6 months in prison for having a suspended license. This guy's your main villain, and he's playing a guy named Krem, who isn't exactly like an A-tier DC villain. So, like, I feel like if you have Supergirl, who's not Superman, and you have a first-time actress, in terms of, big budget movies, and then you have a villain with a villain that character doesn't, but we don't really know, and then you have the actor no one knows. It feels like, is there enough juice here? And I think that's why you have Jason Momoa.
Exactly. That's why you have Jason Momoa and Lobo.
He's like
Again, not
needed in this movie.
yeah, because you need like some sort of duo, like enough star power, and also not just star power like from the actor, but also from the character. Because Krem is nothing to me. I know Woman of Tomorrow, acclaimed comic series, but
I didn't love his look in this either.
I didn't like it. That's also a change from the comic where he had like a bunch of he's like a jacked
It's like an archer.
guy with arrows, and he has red hair and a nice beard. Like he's better looking, a nice beard and wavy hair. Like he looks put together. And here he looks like a psychopath.
I thought he was gonna be like he almost looked like a Disney Plus Star Wars villain,
Oh,
that
God, you're
dies
right.
off after an episode.
That's a great call, and I hate how good that is because that's so true.
But Momoa, so he's playing Lobo, who is this anti-hero bounty hunter in DC. I wanted to know what you think his role could be because as a bounty hunter, is he hunting Krem? Is he potentially going to join forces with Milly Alcock as Supergirl? Is he hunting Supergirl? Is he hunting her mentee, Ruthie? Is he hunting her? I think there's just like a lot of what ifs with his character. I'm interested to see what the direction he goes. If I had to put money right now, I bet that Lobo will be fighting alongside Supergirl by the end of this movie.
Yes, I would agree that's probably minus money. It's just how, right? I don't think it's going to be for the same reason, like as in from with Krem, as in hunting Supergirl and Crypto, right? That's Krem's reason. It can't be for that reason. It has to be either for God, Ruth, yeah,
Maybe Clem hires him to take out Supergirl.
and then maybe he sees her side or something. But it comes back to Supergirl doesn't need Lobo to defeat this guy. That's where, like, I don't know I know I haven't read the Woman of Tomorrow comic, but like Supergirl is the same powers as Superman. You know,
Dude, I
just
100% could see this movie coming out. Lobo, Momoa, he is born for the role, and he does amazing spin-off series.
yeah, it'd be like Peacemaker.
Yeah, that is the next Peacemaker. It's
Yeah,
Lobo.
I like that too, and not just for DC, but for Jason Momoa because he's doing with Minecraft. He's in F9, 10, X, whatever. This would be good for him to kind of find something else just as like a stopgap to say, hey, I'm still a big star. I don't need to be in kid stuff. I can do some serious stuff. It'll probably be R rated like Peacemaker, and just boost up his profile again. And then, hey, he has Dunk. He's going to be in Do Messiah, Duncan, Idaho, and maybe he can kickstart something.
He's clearly passionate about this, this character. I think honestly, this could be DC's Deadpool potentially with Lobo. Like Peacemaker, I don't think as big of a name as like a Deadpool would be for Marvel. Like Lobo, people wanted to see this character for a long time on the big screen, beloved in the animated series, and having Momoa play him, it's like the passion he has. It's like Reynolds with Deadpool. I could see him like willing this to happen. Like now, I need a series because everyone I think is going to like him in this movie. He looks great. The cigar looks fire, right? The black, the eye black, the triangle, like the kiss, like makeup on his face he looks great. Like he looks absolutely spectacular. I'm excited to see him in this movie.
I think, let's say, like all of our fears come to fruition with this movie that we've talked about so far, all of our worries, I should say. I think I could see us in June saying, Lobo killed it though.
Yeah,
Like I could totally see us saying like he deserves a spinoff series, and then he gets one like similar to like freaking Skylar Gisondo from Superman getting his own spinoff series. Like if he's getting one, for God's sakes, the Lobo, Jason Momoa should get one, and he's actually someone that's been thinking about this role forever, right? And I just totally can see that like a week after James Gunn saying, yeah, and I'll write it too.
honestly, yes. I think James Gunn would love to work with Momoa, like more hands on. He seems like an actor. Probably that auditioned for Guardians of the Galaxy. Probably auditioned for Drax. If that story already came out, I apologize for acting like I don't know about it, but I'm pretty sure he auditioned for Drax. Like he would have been great for it too. So
I'm googling it.
that's Supergirl. Any other thoughts on Supergirl before we move on with the checkup? But I would say after this conversation, I'm more excited for Supergirl. I just had a very lukewarm response to it. And I guess when you address the connectivity, it makes me way more positive about it. And I think Milly Alcock can do it. They just got to show her being more assertive, and you got to show her being a freaking superhero. Like, show us how strong Supergirl is. That's going to be key.
All right, my last thing, following up with Jason Momoa auditioning for Guardians of the Galaxy. He did. Allegedly, with AI overview from Google, back in 2021, apparently he was offered the role of Drax, but he turned it down because he didn't want to do another, quote, shirtless painted role. Um, Obviously, it led to Dave Bautista getting the part. But Momoa's screen test reportedly went so well that Marvel immediately offered it to him before he backed out. And again, that's after Game of Thrones. That's after Conan.
That's
So he's
before Aquaman.
that is before Aquaman, correct? So that was bold by him. Thank God it worked out for him with Aquaman and whatnot. But that's like good for him that it worked out. But wow, he was literally offered the role.